Hey, I'm Tara, and today I want to talk to you about 3 crystals that are really great for the heart. Now, I like these 3 crystals separately, but I also like them in combination or in pairing together, and however you want to use them. And I think you'll really like them. Now, 2 of them are pink, so if pink's not your color, it might not be a great fit, but one of them is black and green. So, let's start off with, I'm going to start off with one of the more popular of the 3, and that is rose quartz. Rose quartz is very well known for unconditional love. That is one of the main reasons people choose rose quartz, and it is for all kinds of love. And you don't even have to say unconditional with love, because love is unconditional. Love is total acceptance. So I love rose quartz for that reason. I am someone who believes that heart-centeredness and coming from the heart and seeking connection with humanity is very important, not just in everyday life, but in work. And so rose quartz is a stone that helps us to do that. I encourage people who have stress at work or personalities that are difficult at work to have rose quartz in their workspace or carry it on them, maybe in their pocket or something when they're going to be at work. So let's talk a little bit more deeply about rose quartz. So rose quartz is a beautiful rock, and this one is just a stone, massive form, right? I don't know how well you can see that. I need to get some light on that, I guess. And it's cleaned. That's about it. It's not polished. There's no oils added to it to increase shine or shimmer or anything. This is just a cleaned stone, so no dirt on it. Probably, given the shape of it, it had an acid bath, because there's really no dirt on it. It also can be tumbled, and people love it for jewelry, so it's a very easy one to wear. So there's a nice tumbled piece. So rose quartz, the pink color, is from a mineral called dumortierite, and forgive me on my pronunciation if you're a geologist. It's a complicated word. So let's look physically. It generally works for the whole chest area, and when we think about the chest, think about internal and external. So internally, what's there? We got the heart in the center of the chest, and the lungs in the chest as well. So rose quartz benefits both the heart and the lungs. Another thing that's in the chest is the thymus, which in children is very big and has a very active role in white blood cell formation and the lymphatic system, which translates into immunity. So you probably heard with kids do the thymus thump when they're sick, just tap on their chest. It works when kids are small. As they get older, it shrinks, and it just isn't as needed anymore. And as in adults, it's not very large. It still has a little bit of activity, but not a lot. And when you think about the heart, think about the beating function of the heart, the health of the heart muscle, and then what does the heart do? It pumps blood around the body. And so rose quartz is going to help with circulation because it benefits the heart muscle, the heart energetically, the heart physically. And then lungs, think about problems with the lungs. So you're talking about physical problems like shortness of breath, unable to take a deep breath, phlegm in the lungs, whether it's acute, like having a common cold, or something going into the chest, like bronchitis or something like that, emphysema. And then even long-standing or chronic phlegm in the lungs, just a little bit at a time, maybe from smoking or something like that, or exposure to smoke or chemicals, which is a slow irritation of the lungs. And then also, rose quartz can help those who are dealing with cancer. Now, we're not saying that rose quartz is going to heal the cancer, but as one of Chinese medicine's great teachers, Heiner Fruehauf, has said, cancer developing in a person is kind of like an emotional equivalent to one not recognizing their own worthiness. And so if rose quartz is for unconditional... I had a little technical difficulty there. My battery was dying and my dog was barking, so just took care of both things. So for a person who has cancer, if cancer is emotionally the equivalent of one not recognizing their own worthiness, and rose quartz is a stone of unconditional love, then if rose quartz helps that person to identify self-love and develop self-love, then that can start a healing process. Another thing, rose quartz Emotionally, helps us release guilt and shame, resentments. We all need to get rid of those. It can help reduce stress, and it can help alleviate emotional heaviness. So emotional heaviness, I mean, that goes to guilt, shame, and resentments, but also moving past anger and jealousy. So if we can go from any of those to unconditional love, that's a beautiful transition. So generally helps us to release those emotions. It can also help to heal a broken heart and help us to transform heartache and move forward from that. If there's any old emotional conditioning, things we learned as a child about what love means, and maybe it was something we saw in a movie. I mean, movies don't really translate what love is really like and what it takes to build a true, real supportive relationship. Movies don't really show us that. And we all got exposed to movies growing up, and perfection and happily ever after. And then there's what we saw within our own families and what we saw in other people's families, maybe families, friends of our family. And that could have looked a lot of different ways. And it can help us to release unexpressed emotions that have been held inside. Maybe it will help us express them, but also maybe just help us to let them go if we're not going to be able to express them. And then the last thing, and I think is really important, it helps us open up and accept love from others, to receive, become a receiver of love with rose quartz. Now, you might think, I do receive love, and I'm just going to leave you with an idea. Becoming someone who receives love means you allow others to do things for you. Because love is communicated through action, right? It isn't just, I'm here and I love my son. I show him love by doing the things that I choose and think that I should do to express that love and to take care of him in the way that I said I would, right? So if I sit here and I'm just being love and taking no action to communicate that, he doesn't really experience it, right? Now, yes, on an energetic level, but on the human level, in the physical realm, it's expressed through action. Action can be cuddling. Action can be looking him in the eye and telling him, I love you. And I do those things, right? And I also make him sandwiches and, make sure he brushes his teeth and all those things. And they're all based in love. So when you think about if you're accepting love or receiving love from others, and I'm talking about you actually let it in, not just people are sending it to you. You're letting that love come in. You've let down your wall. You're being vulnerable. So that's really what we're talking about. Now, on a spiritual level, we have rose quartz is aligned with Archangel Ariel, which is very much about love, right? And also connection with the Christ consciousness. These are beautiful, very high vibration energies that can come in and guide us and assist us on our journeys. And then think about this. If rose quartz is about unconditional love, then in spiritual, that would be divine love, divine connection, and divine guidance. And, well, that's good. That's enough about rose quartz. Now, another crystal or stone that I really like is rhodonite. I also like rhodochrosite, which I'm not going to talk too much about, but I'll throw in one thing right now about rhodochrosite. Helps move past trauma. And I think that's a very important one. Maybe I'll do another video on just that one. But for today, rhodonite is a beautiful pink stone also. I just have these tiny little tumbles. I'm going to try to show you some. And I'll try to cut a little picture in or a little video so you can really, really see it. It's got a beautiful pink color. It's opaque though, whereas rose quartz is translucent. So light can pass through rose quartz, but it does not pass through rhodonite. And rhodonite also has this nice black matrix, metamorphic rock, I think it is. I'm not a geologist. I'm metaphysical. I do metaphysical stuff. So rhodonite is a beautiful pink and black stone. If you get a big piece, it will be pink with black or dark gray marbling. And it looks kind of like marble. It's very pretty. Now, rose quartz was about heart and lungs, the chest, right? Because the heart chakra is here. And then for rhodonite, it's heart, lungs as well, but also the liver. It actually helps to support detoxification. That's one of the things about it that is so beneficial for the liver. And the heart and lungs and nervous system are also benefited too. So together, these two stones both work for the heart and lungs. And thinking about the heart and lungs, again, the heart itself, circulation, the pumping action of the heart, the physical structure of the heart, moving blood through the vessels. And in Chinese medicine, we say that the heart governs the blood vessels. And so that would be a carryover for these two stones, that it would also support the blood vessels. And then for the liver, in Chinese medicine, in the 5-element cycle, you got liver, heart, spleen, lung, kidney, and then back to liver. So liver supports the heart, right? So rhodonite, supporting the liver and detoxification, by virtue of that also supports the liver. And also we say that the heart and lungs share the same space, and they do. We call it the upper jiao. The upper jiao, Jiao, is the container for the heart and the lungs. And it has to do with types of qi and high vibration qi and moving fluids in the body, like helping fluids to circulate properly in the body. I'm going to keep that general because it's a crystal video. And also nervous systems. This helps the nervous system. Now, anything, in my opinion, anything that makes the blood flow better, anything that cleanses the blood, is going to benefit pretty much every cell in the body, because blood is how we get anything anywhere in the body. Now, once it leaves the blood, it goes into the interstitial spaces, and then it's either picked up by the blood again or picked up by the lymph system. So depending on where something is, it has different names. You know, if it's in the blood supply, it's blood or a constituent of blood. If it's in the interstitial space, it's interstitial fluid. If it goes into the lymph system, it's called lymph or lymphatic fluid. So, but everything comes from the blood, right? So these two stones, being that they benefit the heart, and the heart is connected to the blood vessels, both help with circulation. And circulation can get to every cell, right, if we get better circulation. Now, emotionally, for rhodonite, this is very good for forgiveness. Now, so rose quartz would be very much for forgiveness too, because if we go from resentment or hatred or fear and we shift into love, then the forgiveness has happened. It has to. Another one that's been lit a lot in my research, a lot of different sources say friendship. And I like that particularly naming friendship, you know, a friendship stone, a stone that helps with develop good quality friendships, lasting friendships. And also communication. I think that's one of the key things about rhodonite, the communication part of it, because communication is what helps us to create, maintain, and expand any relationship. And another thing about communication, if something does happen in a relationship that creates an unworkability or hurt, communication is how we heal that and how we move forward. And those situations where there is hurt and there are two people in a relationship that want to heal that, communication is going to do that, and it's also going to create a stronger bond. Another thing with rhodonite, kindness and love and passion, right? All wonderful things. And then also self-love, self-worth, and self-confidence, right? Now, rose quartz, most of the talk about rose quartz is really about love, 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 self-love, right? Love for others, love for spouse, love for significant other, love for all beings, all creations, love for earth, love for nature, love for every person. And that's going to be an access for healing and the things that you're seeing in society that bother you. You know how Gandhi says, be the change you wish to see in the world? Well, being loving is an access to seeing those improvements. So something else about rhodonite on an emotional but also physical level is its ability to benefit the nervous system. And one of the things that rhodonite does is helps us to kind of come down from this frazzled, crazy, overworked, over mental stimulation, too much computer work, too much exposure to electromagnetic frequencies and radio frequencies and all that stuff that makes our energy go up, 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 and overstimulates the nervous system, and you feel that jazzed feeling or like super frazzled. This kind of brings it back down. Now, it's not a stone that protects from electromagnetics, but it helps the body heal when there's an overstimulation. Now, you don't have to be overstimulated by electronics or overuse of a computer or lights or whatever your exposures are in that sense. Some people get frazzled from being in a large group of people. They're just aware of other people's energy. And if you are sensitive to that, then rhodonite might be a good stone for you to get a hold of and maybe take it with you when you have to be around large groups, just to help you stay anchored, and then meditate with it regularly. And then spiritually, rhodonite also has unconditional love listed, helps balance yin and yang. So yin and yang in the West is not really understood. And I'm not going to go deeply into that. Maybe I'll have a conversation about that at some point. But for now, let's just say that yin and yang are opposites throughout our world. Okay? So, example, day versus night. Okay, now yang is the bright, the light. And I'm not talking about divine light. I'm just talking about in our earth plane, how we experience things just here in the physical. Light, bright, sunshine, the light of the moon. That is yang, right? So then what's yin? Nighttime, shadow. And I'm not talking about darkness and evil. None of that. Nothing in Chinese medicine is about yin and yang. Nothing about yin and yang in Chinese medicine is about good and evil. That's 80s Chinese, cheesy 80s movies, right? I was going to say Chinese, but it's not Chinese. I was thinking of Big Trouble in Little China, actually. Cheesy 80s movies with Chinese stars and all that stuff that we thought was really cool back then. And if you weren't alive back then, you weren't born yet, it's time to go see Big Trouble in Little China. The original, right? Not the new one, but the new one's probably good too. So opposites, right? And these opposites have an interrelationship, an interdependence, right? So when we say yin is nighttime, yang is daytime, right? We can't experience one without the other. One can't exist without the other. If you don't have daytime to compare to nighttime, you can't recognize each of those, right? Male and female, these are opposites in human body, I guess we could say, in human body. You can't experience one without the other. You can't recognize one without the other, right? Now, the thing about yin and yang is they're interdependent and they are intermingled, okay? And that's not the right word, but I can't think of it. I mean, I took that class 13 years ago or something crazy, right? I can't think of all the list of things, right? I wasn't planning on talking about this. So yin and yang they're inseparable, right? They cannot be separated, right? So all the masculine and the most masculine man you can imagine, he's still got a little bit of yin. And then the most feminine of feminine women, she's still got a little bit of yang, right? So male is considered yang, yin is considered female, right? And so when we talk about balancing the yin and yang, if you want to look at that spiritual, you can look at like all the different ways. And yang constitutes movement, and yin and intangible, and yin constitutes like tissue and structure and growth and things like that. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the human body, right? The movement of the body is yang, the structure of the body is yin, okay? And so balancing the yin yang in the body, right? And then rhodonite can also help you to shift into being someone who wants to give back just to make humanity better. Like earlier I mentioned Gandhi, be the change you wish to see. Rhodonite is another stone that will help you do that. And also it helps you ground or bring your spiritual practice right here back into your life. So if you look at it like this, you meditate by yourself, alone in a quiet space. Maybe you have music, whatever you do, right? And then you find this real peace, this beautiful experience. But then when you go out in public, you're frustrated by terrible drivers, you're frustrated by the number of people and just how they are and how they just don't, they don't have politeness, they don't treat others well, and you can see it by how they, just walk in front of someone and they're rude or they don't say hello, and just whatever it is that just really gets to you. This helps you bring that peace that you experience in your spiritual practice, bring that with you when you go out into the world, right? And we need that. We need people that are doing that. And there's a lot of people doing it. And we're all human, right? Even after my best meditation, sometimes I get irritated when I go out in public and things aren't going the way I think they should be going. All right, so the third stone that I think is a really great to kind of combine with rose quartz and rhodonite is Kambaba jasper. And this is a really beautiful stone. Let's see if you can see it, if I get it right up there. Yeah. So pretty. I fell in love with this stone, just the way it looks. I mean, it's got a nice green color and it's got these swirls. It's actually fossilized remains of the stromatolite algae. So we're talking fossilized. That's old, like really old. And we're talking about life forms. Algae was alive thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years ago. And so that aliveness interacting with the earth at that time, we say that it has this ancestral energy to it. So like with rose quartz, we said it has the energy or the vibration of Archangel Ariel. And I forgot to say this, but with rhodonite, rhodonite brings in the pink ray of light from the heavens, right? And that means it's bringing in this unconditional love, this healing through love. And one other thing about rhodonite, the name Rhodon actually means rose in Greek. So I thought it was interesting that two of the stones that I took both have rose in the name. So back to Kambaba jasper. So Kambaba jasper is often confused with nebula stone. And I don't have a nebula stone to show you, but you could look those up. I'm sure that somebody has done a video or has pictures to kind of compare the two. And I think Kambaba jasper is less expensive than nebula stone. So, just, for your savvy shopping, it might be worth it to do a little research to just kind of see what they look like. And so that when you go shopping, you're picking the one that you want. So sometimes it's called green stromatolite because of that stromatolite algae that's in there. I like this stone a lot. Another name, crocodile jasper. And you can probably tell from the way it looks why it's called crocodile jasper. It's a sedimentary, if you're a geologist, into the geology of it. So physically, Kambaba jasper, the black color and that it's a jasper, that's root chakra, right? Anchoring, grounding. Look at that. Oh no, think of like, I don't know, gaseous planets when I see this. And also the heart chakra, the green color resonates with the heart chakra. So that's why I picked this one to kind of combine here. I'll talk about them all three together in a minute. So renewing the organs in the torso, cleansing throughout the torso. So renews the organs in that way. So rhodonite also helps detox, but specifically for the liver. And then enhancing the cells. So if we clean out some junk, right, the cells are going to function better. And then also helps with digestion. Now, helping with digestion, there's something about when the digestion is working. When the digestion is not working, we could be either not digesting and getting all the nutrients that we need, or we could be digesting stuff that's just kind of lingering in the intestines. So instead of moving through and cleaning out, like having regular bowel movements at least once a day, significant amount, we may be digesting old stuff that's sort of stuck in the intestines, kind of impacted, right? And I'm not talking about impact from a Western standpoint where the intestines aren't moving at all and there's a blockage. I'm talking about just like inner lining stuff is just kind of lingering there. And so we're pulling toxins in, right? So if we get better digestion, one, we either are going to have more nutrients coming in, right? And if that's the issue, is not digesting the nutrients and absorbing them, or we can stop digesting the toxins. And I would say most people probably have both things going on. So if you start to digest better, then you're going to have better, stronger blood because you're going to get more nutrition and less toxicity, You're going to have an improved cellular function, so more energy overall, and some symptoms could go away. Now, another thing about that, when the digestion works really well, the immune system is stronger, a lot stronger. And you're going to have more energy because as each cell can detox properly and get the energy it needs to function, your whole body feels better. Okay, now emotionally, it helps calm mental activity. So partner that with rhodonite, right? Rhodonite was calming that overactive nervous system. Remember I talked about like you're just overworked. mental exhaustion, frazzled. This helps to calm mental activity as well. It brings like a sense of peace fairly quickly. It also heals the heart, right? Helps to unfold the heart chakra, open the heart. What does rose quartz do? Opens the heart. This helps to generate compassion, right? And this is about unconditional love, rose quartz. Also helps us to be more generous, giving up ourselves. And this also helps with love for others and love for ourselves, right? And that's what the other two stones do as well. Now, cool thing about this is we get the ancestral knowledge and the ancestral energy of this stone having been around for such a long time, and also that there's a living creature that has died and now is fossilized. Some other words that kind of go with this: prosperity, happiness, and abundance. And it's also protective. Pretty much always, well, any jasper has a protective quality and an anchoring quality, but also black stones have a protective quality. And so this is the only of the three that has protective quality to it. Now, when I think of Kambaba jasper, I wrote down three things: mind soothing, heart healing, and spiritually protective, as kind of a way to help me remember why and when to use this. So now let's kind of talk about them all together. So unfold the heart chakra, right? Helps heal the heart. Helps heal heart issues. Helps heal heart issues. So these three stones all help the heart structure, the heart function, the heart energy, right? So, and then spiritually, to generate love and compassion. And being someone who's heart-centered, I think this is very important for this time that we're in of huge change. Things that have been mentioned for a long time are starting to be seen. They're definitely happening. And there are things in society that people are doing to each other that are almost unspeakable, but we must speak about them. We must talk about them. Don't sweep it under the rug anymore. And that's why all this stuff is coming up, because people are done sweeping it under the rug. So we got to talk about those things. And what do we find out today? Love helps with communication. Rhodonite specifically is for communication, but again, that's coming from love. So how do we communicate about things? We have to be vulnerable. We have to be willing to cry in front of other people about those things that are happening in our world that are upsetting, and have conversations. You know, nobody has to heal your crying over those things. Sometimes we just need to cry about them. We need to let that hurt out, you know, about some of the things that are happening in the world. And crying is a beautiful way to do that. So find somebody that is safe for you to cry with, that can just listen. That can just listen to you, and you can talk about what you see in the world. And one thing I tell people when they look out in the world and they say, this is overwhelming, the awful things that are happening. You got fires over here, you got war over here, you got major suppression of women over here, you got suppression of everyone over here. You have an illusion that things are okay, and really when you look, they're not, right? There's a lot of stuff happening that's not. Now, are there wonderful things happening? Absolutely. There's people like you and me who are sharing our knowledge and helping others in whatever ways that we know to help or that we can help. So I tell people, when you look out there and you get really overwhelmed, you watch too much news, you got sucked into social media and you kept scrolling and everything was about the horrors, or, you know, there's something happening in your region and everybody's focused on it. And it's just like constantly seeing suffering, and people hurting people, or unexplainable tragedy. When you're seeing that, what I tell people is pick one thing that really matters to you and focus on making a difference with that. And then how do you make a difference? You can meditate or pray about it, right? You can also, maybe you can send money. Maybe you can volunteer your time. Maybe you can send a care package, you know? When the most recent hurricane came through and destroyed the islands, you know, people all over my area were collecting goods. You know, and they had a list, like, here's what you can bring. We will send it for you. And you just want to go somewhere that you know you can confirm they're going to send that, you know, whatever you bring. So there's ways that you can make a difference. You can't change everything in the world right now. We can't just, maybe we can, but I haven't seen it happen yet, right? So for now, you pick the thing that's important, the thing that really tugs on your heart. That's the thing to make a difference with, right? So what is that thing? What is happening out there in the world that you'd like to see change? And how can you change it, right? And remember me saying that love is one of the ways that we can change the world? That's why I chose to do this video. Because I do think that loving each other is a key thing. It's really easy to judge other people. It's easy to be mad at somebody who cuts you off in traffic. It's also just as easy to just let them get in front of you and drive. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you'll click like, make a comment, let me know that you're out there, that you're watching, that you're listening, and let me know what else you want. What other videos do you want? What do you want to know about? Thank you.